Hi there, everyone. It is currently the 2nd of January 2011. Happy New Year for everybody out here in the Western Pacific, Australia, and also recently out there in the Indian Ocean. I hope you did have a good New Year's out here. I know some of the people are still recovering from recent storms across the region, and that's actually one thing we're going to get into today is the recovery efforts going on in the Philippines and the possible effect of this next low pressure area spinning up here just towards the southeast of Mindanao. Actually, at 8 a.m. this morning, Pagasa did put a low pressure area warning advisory number 3 out on this region, stating that this weather system is going to bring cloudy skies this morning, but by this afternoon and the evening time, as this continues to work its way off towards the northwest, it is expected to continue to start bringing heavier rain showers that could possibly trigger flash floods and landslides. They're being very cautious with their forecast here, and I think that's very smart of them, given the ground in this area is already fairly loose out here due to the heavy rainfalls from Tropical Storm Washi that just took place over about 2 weeks ago. So with that said, though, let's look at the no gaps model outlook here. This is comparing up fairly closely with GFS, and over the next couple of days you see this area of rainfall continue to push off towards the northwest over Mindanao. It actually forms up into a cyclonic circulation per this model a few times there with a closed off circulation, but as that continues to push off towards the northwest, and eventually on the Wednesday and the Thursday, it really doesn't become organized. But the big threat with it, it does look like it's going to be going fairly slow over the course of this coming week and might linger over Mindanao for several days. I think that's one reason why Lagas is actually mentioning it here as a low pressure area, because it is still going to bring the threat of some heavy rainfall here across much of the southern Philippines. And here's actually looking at the current tropical cyclone formation probability from NOAA, and it does show some of these areas a little more higher than typically out in this region, and this is actually what climatologically in the middle of January should look like out here. So really, even if it does not develop, still kind of out of season for having this large of an area of convection moving across the Philippines, since it's actually only January really should be kind of quiet out here. But one other note, though, is that in the Western Pacific, tropical cyclones have climatologically formed year-round, so not unheard of, but on the flip side, it has happened in the past. But this is just looking at JMS surface analysis out here and just showing that really they're not even picking up on a low pressure area down here. So don't be fearful of this developing into a tropical storm, but I just think that it is going to bring more energy to the southern Philippines, as actually Francis put that out in this video update earlier today. And actually, speaking of, if you want to click up here on the top right, just a real quick shout out for him here. That is his first video update as well for Western Pacific weather. But looking at the rest of the Asia here and also the Western Pacific, we have a low pressure area moving off of Japan today, high pressure originating behind that, and that's going to be bringing more northerly winds, some gusty winds being seen up and down the region here, and even more snowfall further in eastern Honshu. And once again, that's what all these bands right in here, extending all the way from Korea down to Kyushu and back up to Hokkaido, all that there white, well, that's actually very heavy snowfall, creating some blustery conditions out there. But let's take a look at our temperatures here real quick. Starting all the way off towards the north in Seoul, we're seeing a high today of 0 degrees. That's right on freezing there. A high of 6 in Tokyo. Down towards the south, we're seeing about 7 out in Shanghai. But once you get south of that line right in there, right around Taiwan, that's where the temperatures start to pick back up again. And then you get into the tropics, right around the Philippines, seeing temperatures in the high 20s. And even farther towards the south, you're seeing those 30s out there across Malaysia. So still tropical weather being seen out across here, and that's why we're continuing to monitor this area for further development on and some systems. And actually, speaking of further development on possible systems out here, let's take a look really quick at this Malaysian peninsula here. We have an area of convection in that region, where there is fear of possible tropical development with this system here over actually southern Thailand instead of Malaysia. And it is bringing some heavy rainfall. Actually, if you look at France's last update as well, he does show some rain totals out there, but the fear of development really is not so much there at this time, though. It looks like the system is really disorganized at the time. It is going to run into some vertical wind shear, but something to continue to watch as it moves out here towards the west, towards the Bay of Bengal. Really don't want another tropical system forming up here in the wake of the last one. And lastly, just actually farther down here towards the south, we're continuing to watch Tropical Cyclone 4. That is way away from anybody, actually about 500 miles towards the south of Diego Garcia, which is the nearest landmass off here towards the north. So actually, let's think it's a little bit farther north than that. So that is all for right now, everybody. Thanks again for watching here at westernpacificweather.com. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please post them in the comment box below. Always appreciate on that feedback, input, and also if you're out in any of these regions and you got some photos, videos, or any reports of the weather going on the ground there, I always appreciate that as well. Nothing better than a good on the ground report across the region here, and actually some photos I I try to work into these updates as well. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Please stay safe out there and have a great day and have a great new year. Bye.